You have to surround yourself with people who truly don't care, who are truly trying to be, the innovators and not the ones who watch the innovators. Like, it's hard to succeed in anything when you don't have a group of people around you who are trying to get out and do new things.
Chad, did he just clip on him? That was tough. You just stacked. That was
Did I just clip on him? I'm dead serious.
That was hard. That was tough. That was like that is what I call, that was pro. That was a pro response. That was like.
All right, welcome back to OTL Pod. I'm your co-host Kelvin Smith here with my man Mace. What's up, Mace?
Hey, bro. What's up?
And today we're doing a little switch up. Mace just gave his 5 pieces of advice that he's learned since he got to Yale. Now I'm going to give mine.
Tune in.
Let's get into it. Let's see. My first piece of advice, man. Know your worth. Know your worth. And I say this because when I first came to Yale, I had imposter syndrome bad. Like, I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be here. My recruiting process was different. Coming out of high school, I got recruited during COVID, so I didn't ever have to go visit a school. I kind of just got recruited straight through film, like sending and film, right? So the coaches never met me. I visited Yale once on a Zoom call. I didn't feel like I really, made my way here the same as everybody else did. But you got to know your worth, Like, I didn't play football for that long. I just started playing football very competitively later on in life. But my whole life, I realized that I've always been working hard. I've always had a dream of going to play a sport in Division I, whether it be in the Ivy League or somewhere else. And now, just getting to the Ivy League, it made me realize that, like, you have to believe in yourself if you want the people around you to believe in you, So no one's going to come here and kind of just put a pedestal over there and say, here, this way, You kind of got to guide yourself and believe in yourself. So knowing your worth is the most important part about coming into school, and it's something that I would tell myself freshman year is you're supposed to be here. You're here for a reason. Know your worth.
Let me ask this question because you've dealt with it yourself. How does someone learn to believe in themselves when no one else believes in them?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. When no one else believes in you, you kind of have to turn back to all the work that you put in to get to where you are now. And listen, I'm not saying it's perfect. There's inconsistent days. I have days where I'm very inconsistent. I have days where I'm very consistent, But it's all about constantly being aware of where you're at. So it doesn't matter necessarily how far along you are, but you have to be aware of that. If you're not doing good, you have to be aware of that. You can't push it under, say like, oh, it's going to be all right tomorrow. No, go make a physical change so that you can come back tomorrow and be a better person or a better player or whatever you're in. So it comes down to you judging yourself and being honest,
Give me an example of a time that you think that you were tested, or maybe like freshman year, you probably would have folded versus now, you're stronger and different because of, you're worth a little bit more.
Yeah. I say it comes to, for me, it's football. When I'm on that field, I feel like freshman year, I kind of was trying to fit in, I wasn't necessarily trying to be the best player I could be. I was trying to be good enough so that people couldn't tell me apart from the next player, So whenever I ran a rep, whenever there was a one-on-one, I was just trying to do good enough so that I wasn't looked at. I didn't have a spotlight on me. Whereas, this past year was one of the seasons that I blessedly wasn't hurt, didn't get injured. And I just had so much fun, Like,
Too much fun.
I just had so much fun. Like, this was one of my favorite seasons at Yale by far. Just the connections I made with the team. I feel so close with the guys. And it all came down to me going into practice and truly going into it with the intention to give my all and to have fun. And to realize that, we're here playing football. I could be somewhere, God forbid, I could be somewhere out in the streets, Like, I could be not in college right now. There's a lot of things, there's a lot of places I could be, and I'm at Yale playing football, and I just dropped the pass. Like, catch the next one, Like, things aren't as serious as they seem. And another thing for me was, like, when you have to be able to accept, I wouldn't say this is another piece of advice, it kind of goes hand in hand with this one, but, like, if someone tells you something and you feel like it's an insecurity of yours, you have to be able to accept that you may be doing that thing wrong, So, like, a lot of criticism I got is, he's not nimble enough for his position. He can't move too fast. That's not, at first for me, I was like, dang, they're just hating, it's going to be okay. Like, I'm going to do my thing. But there comes a point where you have to accept those, those negatives and turn them into positives and try to make a change, Sometimes the advice you're getting or the criticism you're getting is what you need to succeed.
Yeah.
So I say that's what it comes down to. Know your worth.
I like
my
that.
First thing.
I like that. What's number 2? Let's hear the second one. Off the Leash Podcast is brought to you by Skinletics. Now listen, if you've never used light therapy before, you should have started yesterday. But the good thing is there's still lots of time. It is the best thing for you recovery-wise. If you're an athlete and you like working out, it really helps reduce inflammation. And if you're somebody who just cares about their health and well-being, they have a face mask that's really good for anti-aging and anti-acne properties. I'm gonna put the link in the description. On top of all of that, they make amazing apparel as I'm sporting right now. Listen, if you watch our podcast, if you're a part of the OTL community, you gotta tap into Skinletics. Go ahead, check it out. Hope you enjoy. Let's get back to the episode. All right, what's number 2? Let's hear the second one.
Networking.
Networking
And relationship building. I came on everybody that I've lived with. Freshman year I was on the dorms. I was in Morse. Sophomore year I was in Morse.
Morse.
But I live with people that when I lived with them, I met them the first day we moved in. So I didn't know them prior. Junior year I moved off campus, but everybody I ever lived with knows that I don't come in my room. I don't leave my room. I'm on the sticks. I do my homework in my room. I eat in my room. I sleep in my room. I do everything in my room. Like I don't come in my room. I don't really go out to lunch, things like that. But this past year, I've been trying to do the opposite. I've probably come in my room more than I have in the last 4 years combined at Yale, and it's just eye-opening. You meet, like you talked about this in your episode. There's so many people you can meet and so many opportunities just right outside that door. And you're in your room playing. I'm in my room playing 2K. Late night instead of going out and hanging out with my friends. And for me, it was always a thing of like I always had excuses why I didn't come out. Oh, I was tired. We just had practice. I'm trying to get some sleep. Oh, I don't drink, why do I need to go with the rest of the guys right now? But like, they're having a good time. They're living life out there, So networking, relationship building, relationship building is more for the Yale side. Yeah. As far as networking, I think that there's so many opportunities to network at Yale. It's not even funny. It's like, it's a joke. And like you were saying, like every single person you meet is truly like, I can't explain it. What's the word I'm looking for right now?
Just, I don't know, captivating. Like something.
There's something about them.
They're fascinating. They're fascinating people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I kind of got in this bubble as an athlete, and most athletes do, is like, I say Yale doesn't necessarily have the best connection between its athletes and the students.
No.
Right? There's not really, a open friendship there. It kind of comes with like somebody has to be the one to step up and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, or hey, I'm so-and-so. It comes from either side, but somebody has to do it. Yeah. So unless, you're that person or you run into someone, then you're probably not going to interact with non-athletes that much if you're an athlete, and then the same vice versa. So for me, that came my freshman and sophomore year, living with all students who didn't play any sports was huge for me. That's where my friends came from that are not athletes now, and that's the friends that I'll have for the rest of my life at the same time. Like my whole suite, Kathy, Julian, like all those people, Mateo, Joanna. I don't even want to leave them out, but like shout out all of them. Like
shout out.
Those are some of my my closest people in my life to me now. Besides all the friends I made in sports, and if I didn't live with them that year, I would have never been out of my room. I would have never made so many new friends. I would have never had those experiences. So just getting out of your room and networking with people that go to your school is huge. Even if it's another Ivy, wherever you are, honestly.
Yeah. A random story I want to just quickly share of how I learned, because I learned about networking in the same way you did. We very fortunate that I went to the Super Bowl with my mom this past year. Chiefs versus Eagles this year?
Yeah, Chiefs versus Eagles. That was a good one.
And we were out at this networking event, and I met a person in a company. I won't say a company here, but was one of the highest members in that company, and we were just talking, and I asked him the question of like, why, like not trying to say this rudely, but like, why are you here? Like, why is your company here? Because there's really no affiliation to the Super Bowl, really wasn't any affiliation to anything. I was like, why is your company like rent out a spot on Bourbon Street in New Orleans for a day? It's expensive. And he's like, because if you're inside, you're not doing anything. You got to be outside. That's all he said. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I mean, you got to be outside, because if you're inside, you're never going to make that connection. You're never going to make that friendship. You're never going to meet that person who's going to change your life. But if you're outside, the opportunities are endless. You never know what's going to happen. And from that moment on, I learned to say yes to everything, go out, eat lunch, like even like the party scene. I don't like going out, you know that, but like trying to open yourself up to like, you don't know what will happen if you go out. Just like be outside, bro. Like don't be in your room. So
not real. And
that's real.
Especially this past year, being seniors, Yale has, for people who don't go to Yale has a big trend where your senior year you join a society. And it's basically a group of people that you assumingly haven't met before. And you come together and you spend every Thursday and Sunday together to get closer with people from different parts of Yale that you probably wouldn't meet otherwise. And that to me was just like, it's so unheard of, you know, like to us it's pretty normal now because we've been through the year and everything, but like that's, you go to other schools, that's, I mean, you could call that a frat, but at the same time, a frat is usually someone who recommends their friend to join the frat.
Yes.
So whereas society is you're looking at a bunch of people that you haven't met before.
Yeah.
So it's just a huge experience, an amazing experience just to meet people that, you know, are going into different parts of life and like, I don't know, the little things start to matter more when you go outside.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, 100%.
I say it's my number 2.
What's number 3?
Number 3.
Let's hear number 3.
Number 3. Number 3 is critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
How many times have you critical think?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I say that my first 2 years at Yale, I'd say I probably critical think 0 times. Like I probably critical think 0 times, like at all, ever. But starting like when we started this podcast, like man, when I tell you I've had to put so much like thought into like ideas and just being creative and doing random stuff and being spontaneous and being like impulsive, like there's so many situations where like you truly have to go out of your body sometimes to have an experience you want. Yeah. And like you look back on it and you're like, yes, proud I did that. But in that moment, it's stressful, man. Like I'm more nervous to approach people off the field than I am to like, you know, if it's game winning play in the game. Like I'd rather be in that situation than be off the field trying to approach someone that I never met before. Because it's weird. It's awkward. It's weird. There's no like, it doesn't happen like it does in the movies. Like you know, you gotta force it. You gotta force it. You kind of just have to put your head like, you know, face first into it. And you just gotta embrace it, like whatever comes out of that. And I think I learned that a few times this year, but the first time was when I went out to the Ivy League basketball playoffs. Shout out Carol.
Shout out Farnham Realty.
Shout out Farnham Realty. Yeah. I went out there to see the playoffs. Yale made it, obviously. And she was pushing me and motivating me to approach new people. And one of those people was Peter Salovey. And I saw Peter Salovey and I was like,
Who's Peter Salovey?
Peter Salovey was the former president of Yale for people who don't know. And a lot of people are close to him here. People have probably met him before. But just in my shoes, I was just not very open to the idea of just walking up to him, you know, while he came to see a basketball game and interrupting his day, you know, possibly ruining his day just because I wanted to say hi, you know, and take his moment away. So, but just things like that. I ended up going up to him, saying hi, having a great conversation and talking to him a little bit. And it just goes on from there. Like the list goes on. There's so many people we've met through this process. Like
bro.
You could probably name a few. Off the top of your head.
I mean, the only thing I'll say with this one is like, for anybody who, I think creativity is the future of our generation. Like, I think every like generation I feel like has like the wave. Like, what's the next wave? I feel like 20 years ago, like social media is not what it is now. So like now, like social media is so robust and there's so many different like things and so many different businesses that are created. The only way I feel like to have value in a workforce, in an organization as an individual is to get your creative juices flowing, like just truthfully, because like if you don't bring innovative ideas and thoughts to an organization or even your own life, like you're probably not going to see much return on your work. This is the truth, because every idea that you have, that we have in this current world is probably already being done. So you need to find a way to do it differently.
Right.
So like for me, it's like creativity comes in the sense of like making social media, starting a podcast, or if you like, go start sculpting.
Right, sculpting.
Make music.
Cook.
Like, just like something that makes your mind think differently. Take walks, like walk out in nature that makes you just like be introspectively thinking. I think creativity is like so important, and critical thinking is like a way to just like, what are new ideas I can bring to this world that are not currently being done?
Right. And going off of what you just said, you know, just bringing those ideas to life is my next piece of advice, which is
Number 4.
Your friends have to be as driven as you are. The people in your close circle have to be as driven as you are.
Can you say that one more time?
Your friends have to be as driven as you are, and they don't have to be having they don't have to have the same goal as you, but they have to be as driven in whatever they want to do. You can't surround yourself with people who think it's weird to try new things. You can't surround yourself with people who, when you try to do something out of the box, they look at you differently. You have to surround yourself with people who truly don't care, who are truly trying to be, you know, the innovators and not the ones who watch the innovators. Like, it's hard to succeed in anything when you don't have a group of people around you who are trying to get out and do new things. Like, if me and you weren't this close, bro, and I was trying, and I was thinking about having these ideas would go to the grave. I'd probably think about it one day and be like, nah. But listen, all it takes is one call from you now. Like, yo, let's go down to Princeton. Let's go down to Princeton reunions. All right, bet. Like, now we are Princeton, you know? Like, and it's you have to have somebody around you who's just willing to have those random moments with you, whether that be in, you know, like we said before, cooking, music, art, whatever it is. Your friends gotta have something they want to do, man. And yeah.
Can I jump in? I tried my best to hold for a minute. Chad, did he just cliff arm? That was tough. You just spat. That was I'm dead serious. That was hard. That was tough. That was like that is what I call. That was pro. That was a pro response. Ooh. That was like damn near like I was like, did he like script this in the room like before the? Bro. That was hard. That was pro. That was pro. The only thing I'll add to this, because I got nothing more on that advice. It's probably the best. If you listen to yesterday and you listen to today, it's probably the best piece of advice that you're gonna hear out of anything that we've said, is that you are who you surround yourself with. Like, you surround yourself with people who do X, eventually you will do X. Right. That's just how life works. And find people who, like we just talked about with number 3, who are innovative, who want to change the world in a different and unique way, because that will allow you to want to change the world in a different, unique way. Right. I've been in that Mr. Beast loophole. I'll say it again. I've been watching Mr. Beast for the past like 2 weeks now, just trying to learn how to use social media, because he's the best at it.
He's so easy.
And one thing he shared about when he started his platform was he had 3 other friends with him who were just addicted to YouTube. They wanted to crack the code of YouTube and learn how YouTube worked, from studying thumbnails to studying how the share rate increases visibility and shareability, like really diving into how YouTube works. And he said if he didn't have those group of 3 friends with him, he would have been doing this all by himself. But think about this. You're by yourself and you work really, really hard. You work 10 hours a day, you go to sleep, you wake up, do it 10 hours a day the next day. Yep. Versus the group who has 4 friends who are all driven and trying to grow together. Yep. Those 10 hours get 4x, because you have 4 people doing the same thing and teaching each other what they're doing at the same time. Hey guys, today I learned about how to do X. Now you're teaching everybody else with the same goal how to do X. Right. And you just grow exponentially. So like, surround yourself with people who are like go-getters, because you don't want to do it on your own. Right. You don't want to do it on your own. And
it goes for really anything. Like, yes, it goes for, you know, when you're trying to be motivated and driven, but it also goes for just being spontaneous. Like, yo, let's go outside and let's go to the park today. Like, you know, let's go outside and take flicks. Like,
go outside and take flicks.
Let's go outside and take flicks. You gotta have friends that want to go outside and flick you up. Like, it's the little things, bro. Like, come flick me up, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we got cameras, by the way. If you watch this, we can flick y'all up. Just let me know.
Yeah, you know,
we do pictures and stuff.
$3.99. But yeah, was that was 4?
That was 4. So what we got?
5.
The 5th and final.
5th and final. I gotta think about this one.
Okay. Yeah. Off the dome.
Yeah, it's off the dome.
Off the dome.
5th and final kind of goes back to my first one a little bit. It's just a little different. You gotta be weird. Okay, you gotta
I like
be
this
weird.
one. Gotta be weird.
When I say you gotta be weird, a lot of people like just growing up in through high school, in college, I found that a lot of hobbies I have are very popular hobbies. You know, and especially for like black athletes. Like, for example, I love, you know, scrolling on TikTok, watching people clip farm. Like, it's fun. It's just fun to watch. I don't know why, it's fun. A lot of people do that. I like playing video games. I like doing all this stuff. But you have to realize that just because the people in your circle do it doesn't mean that everybody in the world does it. So when you want to look at something and you want to take it to the next level, like, dive into it. Even if it's popular in your realm. Even if you feel like a million people are doing it. Like, I like making music. I like making beats. Like, there's millions of people who do that. Everybody makes music. Everybody knows at least one friend that got a SoundCloud that you don't listen to, right? But you got to be okay with, you know, just diving into it. If that's what you truly like, that's what you truly like. That's just what it is. You don't got to be different all the time just to prove a point. Sometimes you could be the same, but just work harder than the next person. So, yeah.
I like that. Only thing I'll say is, whatever your hobby is, like, just turn that into something that you can either do yourself or monetize. Mm-hmm. Simply, like, if you like playing video games, stream.
Facts.
Like, Facts. You like scrolling, make content that you want to scroll on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do something that, rather than just scrolling all day and just like I said, doom scrolling, like I said in the last episode, like, do something that you can like look back and say you did yourself.
Facts. Oh, and one more thing. You can learn something from everything you're doing.
Yes. From
everything you're doing, there's something to learn. Like, I say this past weekend, I spent most of my weekend watching Yale University. Shout out Kai. Like, I'm learning.
Was it good?
It was crazy.
I didn't watch it.
It was great. And it's because there's just I was watching it because it was funny, but I was also watching it because like I'm watching people learn how to clip farm. I'm watching people learn how to, I'm watching people learn how to, build their brand. I'm watching people learn how to network. I'm watching people do these things for the first time, and there's positions that like, everybody wants to be in. Just like being in a room with a bunch of people who are innovative and trying to reach that next level, and you can really learn from it. Like in that actual, like in the stream, it's a streaming university, so they teach in classes. And one of them was about Agent. Agent, the 2K player?
Nah.
Agent 00. Shout out Agent. He's a 2K player. All the real ones know 2K player. But he taught a class about how to like become a better streamer. And there was advice. There was just a bunch of little techniques and things that can apply to anything, right? He applied them to that, but he applied it to anything. One of those was just like, let me think for a second what he said. Creative. Oh, he said you should never be short. He said you should never run out of ideas. Mm-hmm. If you're truly trying to be the best at something, you should never run out of ideas. That's probably the easiest thing to come up with. That's like the start to anything you do. There should be infinite ideas running through your head all the time. You should have a list of all the ideas you come up with and constantly be trying new things. And like that was just one of the small examples he gave, but it just goes to my whole point goes to be like, you can learn something from like everything you do. Yeah. And there's so many little things I was doing that are not necessarily productive or good or like, making me smarter, but you can still learn from it, Yeah. So.
Yeah, 100%. I think if you watch something or like you enjoy a hobby, I think you should just find a way to do it to like educate. Like if you're watching a movie, like just take away from the movie. Like I know for me, whenever I watch YouTube now or like watch a video, for me it's more like I'm watching it and saying, okay, like how can I replicate this in our own way? Right. Just something like that, small. Who's the best streamer after watching Streamer University? Who's like the best?
DDG. DDG is the.
Who's that? What do you do?
So DDG is a streamer who he also makes music now. So he made this song like, let me see what song you would know. When I'm out of town, I be tripping, I be on. You know that song?
No.
All right, we canceling that from the episode. Let's see. What song?
I've heard he's the one who's like had like the Twitter stuff going on.
Yeah. So DDG, he's married to Halle Bailey.
Oh yeah, I know. I've seen his face. I've seen his face.
Which one it is.
I've seen his face. He's the best streamer.
He's the best streamer because he puts himself in so many situations to go viral or to boost his content or to boost his brand, to boost his goal, no matter what he's doing. And one thing that like I learned from him is that yes, there's a bunch of luck involved in your brand hitting the ground and going running, but at the same time you have the chance to improve your luck. You have the chance to increase your luck every single time you do something. So yes, there's a bunch of luck in it, but like increasing your luck is the most important thing. And when I watch him, I'm like, he's putting himself in so many situations. There's no way that he's not going to take off. Yeah. And it's the thing. And when I look at that, I'm just like, I don't know. It's just something that I don't know. Yeah. It's just a lot you can learn from that. But
game is game.
What about you? Who's your favorite?
I'll tell you after the episode. Go ahead and do your outro.
I'll tell you who's favorite YouTuber.
I'm gonna tell you after the episode.
After the episode?
Yeah.
After the outro. All right. Well, that's advice from Kel. You know what I'm saying? That's advice from Kel. Just yeah.
No outro. You got nothing else you gotta say?
Well, I said didn't I do your outro?
No.
Did you do your outro? I got you. Make sure y'all like, follow, subscribe for more content. OTL.pod on Instagram, OTL.pod on TikTok, Off The Leash on YouTube. Tap in. We just dropped a couple episodes about Princeton Reunion. Jack Scott, my dog, just committed to Duke. Go watch that video. It's hilarious. My man Mace. Got anything?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.